Leo, how you doing? So we are here with your first half of September. So I have another set of readings and an idea that I've come up with that I'm going to do after I've finished everybody's bi-weekly. So please stay tuned for that, because we're going to see how that one goes. But what's in the box? 7. But we'll see. So Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus. 4. That should hopefully break things down a lot more. But let's see. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus for the first half of September. Leo. Okay. So choosing choice. Listen, I choose my health. I choose my health, and I draw a line in the sand, because God, you complicated everything. I know you're gone, gone, gone. This is where I will draw my line. Someone's drawn a line in the sand and said, you know what, enough's enough. Enough's enough. But there might be a healthy boundary now, is what I'm picking up. There's a healthy boundary now between you and your partner. This is where you would decide upon things energetically of how healthy one person is, meaning yourself, how healthy the other person is, how healthy the relationship is, the partnership between yourselves, how you are aligned with one another energetically, whether there's any kind of defense system that is gathered between, there's a crowd gathering, someone has a crowd of people. A crowd. They draw in a crowd. They draw a crowd where somebody to lean on me when you're not strong. Someone leans on someone for a supportive energy, put it that way. As a supportive energy, somebody that when they might feel defensive in their life, like with their family or anything, they might lean on someone for healthy support. So you might be giving someone healthy advice or healthy support, is what I'm picking up. Now, some of you, if you're resonating at the negative side of life, then always look on the bright side of life. The bright side, the right side, Mr. Brightside, Mr. Bright Eyes. There's a song for you, Mr. Bright Eyes. But always looking on the negative as the positive as well. So somebody took a defense to something. Now that could be literally anybody. There's a line of defense that it's like, listen, I'm here, but please don't cross my boundary anymore, because there is a certain point where I've had enough at the end of the day, you know, energetically wise. So whatever that means to you, it means like, there's been a lot learned, put it that way, through this connection that you have with this person. And also generally society as well, where you don't mind standing alone, you know. If you feel ever that there's people trying to get at you, then that's not you as an individual. That would just be something that they contract within themselves through their day-to-day life, of where things might not be as healthy as somebody likes well, people in general. So if they pick up an ill will or an ill health, they could also blame another party, where it would just form a structure of of life of karma. But this is also making a decision of like choosing oneself also. Because somebody might have been cut out, you see, that also means cutting things out. Now whatever that is, that can be a partnership, that can be a place, a town, a village, anywhere, because it's from the first house to the 7th house. It's the 7 parts of the 7 deadly sins. You know, the wall of defense. Like there's a barrier. There's a barrier that somebody doesn't want crossing. Because it can be a fused energy. It's still part of the tower, you see. The tower can strike if things are so negative in one's life, but it will only teach you a positive lesson in life. It will never teach you more negativity. It might seem that way, but in the end it always comes into fruition where it teaches you a healthy boundary, you know? A healthy relationship. Thank you. Thank you very much. There you go. So, some people are realizing that if this is a dynamic, then it takes a lot of work for you individually, because you go straight to an 8. You know, obviously, being very spiritual and running a channel, or when you're generally spiritual, it's extremely difficult. It's not an easy path to choose. There's a path that needs choosing. People that are obviously watching this channel are esoteric and stuff, and they're trying to figure out something, but there's a message that someone hesitates on sending. It's kind of like, I really want to send it and I really want to tell you something, but if I really want to tell you, what do you want? You know, what do you really, really want? What do you want out of this relationship? Do you want to continue to work on it, or do we give up? But that can also be family. That can also be a job, you see. It's kind of like, the job that I'm in alignment with is just, because this is being in alignment with your assignment. Okay, 1 in 7 and then 8. This is the assignment spiritually. Okay, so you're forming a healthy boundary, but it might just take some time. So what you're learning about within time is boundaries. Because there might be a letter also that you're wanting to send to someone, but you just don't know how well it will be received. So that could be a job, because this would mean a job. You know, the universe, when it speaks as a soul cry of an 8, we can get so many messages that we can start to overanalyze things and become very offensive and defensive against the universe and against the calling, when we realise that we're trying to work for it, but what we're trying to do is realise that we are trying to form a healthy boundary between what you're hearing and what you're seeing. And that some people might have an offence, like to this, for instance. Someone might be offended by what someone's saying. You know, offended, because this is an offence. There might be an offence that some of this could be like court matters, or about a job or something, where there's an offence. The defence system. Because, you know, 8s always talk about a cry, okay, the soul, it's cried out here. So what you put out is what you get back, okay, what you put out is what you get back. So if it's an old job or something, or a person, you might be, well, listen, you know, I'm not playing a game with as you give as good as you get anymore. Because this is like, this is what I'm saying, some people are saying, is it worth working on an old relationship anymore, or an old job anymore, or an old place anymore? Because it's become to the point where it could be extremely hard work to keep up that appearance. You see, the appearance of pride is a major number of 7. And if I keep up this appearance that sometimes things are harder than what I realised, that's self-deceit, but it can also be self-admitting one's own behaviour. You know, because the universe hears you cry, it hears what you say, it hears what you think, and it can see what you do, because that is hearing. Hearing is seeing. Sorry, so it just finished rendering. I spend more energy actually rendering and editing videos than what I actually do have time for. So this is also making time, you see, making time work for you. Time is very, very, very linear, and it works more in your favour when you learn to relax and realise that time works for you when you're in alignment with your assignment. So you might be doing something with assignments where you realise that you're actually aligned very well spiritually, but you might not be aligned in some of the things that you're doing for work, and what you really want to do is something like this. So it's taking a plan and a course of direction and action. But it can be very tiring at the same time, you know, because there is a lot to do. There's a lot of stuff that I do behind the scenes that take more energy and effort away from me than what it actually does to be great at, or not great, but just like, you know, well, yeah, you know, telling oneself of self-worth. But, you know, being able to do that, it takes a lot of energy and effort away from us. So the more that we concentrate on being defended, there is someone that's being defended, like a good supporting energy, but there's also somebody out here that's being defended. It's like defending someone a lot, that's taking a lot of work to keep defending them, when somebody, it might be a friend, that keeps making a mistake, okay? Because sixes are like gifts, okay? Sixes are like, it's like a gift. Because it's like, if that is six is part of an ego, okay, that's kind of like, because someone through a six here can be like getting a lot of attention, and it's like, I need to pay a lot of attention. So it can mean that I need to pay a lot of attention, and I'm spending a lot of time paying attention, which is good, paying the right kind of attention to something now. But I still feel like someone's following. It's like someone's following. I'm the leader of the pack, like following the pack. You know, to become an emperor, you give it back to lead the pack, to lead the way. Essentially, I can't even speak. I can't even speak. Essentially, you know, as we ascend through our path, we realise that eventually we have to move on, you know. There's another song that came up a little while ago, Move On by Jet. Gonna have to move on. Yeah, it's hard, but don't be afraid of me. Yeah, it might be a child, or it might be you see, this could be a message. This is a gift as well. It's really wanting to offer someone something stable, but there might be children or something for somebody that they might feel that there might be some kind of like a distance, because 7 can also mean like distance, because it would still be parts of the Chariot, and the Tower, homes and all that kind of stuff. But this is like really, really working on oneself spiritually, really, really much so. It's kind of like one of these pentacles wants to be offered, which takes that to a 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, for a home, to meet someone. One of your children could be gifted, and they're learning by you, and you're learning by them. You know, I always believe that we learn more by children, because, you know, we do, because they're more pure-minded. You know, it's childlike. They don't know as much from the Matrix as what we think that we know. You know, so what we learn is being childlike is a good behaviour. You know. But someone wants to make someone an offer. There you go. So there's the 8. Wow, that's good. So this is really moving on. That's why I've come up with the song as well. You go from a like 6, 7, 8. This is a strong connection that you can also have with somebody spiritually. Communication, obviously, which is 6 here, you see, which is like moving forward. So it's moving forward onto the spiritually, but very much so, but also moving forward with the person that you have in your mind. That's the direction it is that you've took to say, well, I'm going to continue. This is someone that also gives gifts, Missy. This can be a gift. That can be a gift in any formal manner. because it's worth, you see, it's like, I find it worthwhile keep doing this, and I enjoy doing this, and I find this person that I'm interested in, that can also be a new person, that's well worth the effort for me to put into them. As long as they put in the same amount of effort as what I put in, it's worth building the relationship. So if this is a card where you've cut somebody out, okay, and you've met someone new, this can be like you've understood something and now you're moving forward in the direction of whoever's in your mind. So you've got Libra. So this can be the child that has Libra in their chart and Earth in their chart for some, or fire. But someone wants to offer something to a Libra. Or you have Libra in your chart somewhere. But this can be where work, some people can work obviously for the government, right, which is what we all do. The defence system, there's a defence. So some of these could be going to court, or some of you work in the court as a clerical assistant, or you work in the public eye or whatever. But this could be someone that you're in a relationship like at work or interested in at work. But I'm picking up where there's a bit like, listen, don't keep crossing my path for someone, or don't keep crossing my boundaries. I have a limitation. You know, what's fair is fair. So some of you that are going to court or at work, it's kind of like what's fair is fair. You know, some of you might be getting a payout, and it might not be as much as what you want, but it's as fair as the energy that you've put into getting paid for whatever that is. You know, because that would be fair, obviously. If you've put loads of energy and effort in, but you've been really, really struggling at finding whether that's your path or not, that might not be the path that you're supposed to be on, you know, and that you're working too hard on your assignment and it's not the calling. So you might want to leave something behind to start something new, and that for some of you could be spiritual, or it could be literally a job in general. Or it could mean that this needs to go to court first before you know that you can break away. For this card here. That you know communication has to be 100% clear. 100% clear of what is it that you want. Because this is something that's very clear. This is kind of like, you know, what is it that you want? What's fair is fair. You know, the communication has to be free-flowing. And not where you're so defensive against things that I say or that I do. For some of you. So that might even be something that is happening with children as well. You know, because I generally see life in general is love. Life is love. Love is life. The more love that you have for life, the more it reflects back to yourself, you know. So that's why I do general readings for everything, not just your love life, but everything. Because it balances you out more. Someone they know that they have to work, but they don't like doing what they do as well. They like it. It's kind of like I do like it, but then I don't like it. There's certain things that happen at work for some of you that I feel where you just get worn out and you're just like, oh, it's a good job, but it's just not paying enough, you know, is also what I'm feeling. And if you look at that as your love life, that might be what you're feeling as well. It's kind of like, I really like the person, but I tried putting so much effort into it that it persisted to be very hard work. And for some of you, this can be a new person that you're interested in, okay, because it's a page. And that you're getting something more out of it, which would be Libra. But if you've got it in your chart, you just see it as something that you're getting more out of that's here, which might be an idea or a project or something, but it might also be the person. There needs to be a fair amount of work that's put into the relationship, but a fair amount of work where someone might think, or they're going through, where you don't put enough work in. So if you're someone that owns a business, or you've got a higher ranking position, that you might, where people might take a defense or an offensive to system, where you're thinking you need to put in a bit more work because I seem to be doing it all. You know, I'm doing all the work and I'm trying to delegate in the best way I know possible to speak and tell people, but sometimes there might be where it's just kind of like, well, this is just a hell of a lot of work because I know the right direction, but some people might not be following line, might not be falling into line, okay? So some people might, depending on their growth of their mind, of like whether they see that as fair or not, whether you see that as fair or not, or whether they see it as fair or not. Because it's kind of like fair's fair, you know, you've got to pull your weight, you've got to, you might be saying that to your children, you know, you've got to pull your weight now, you've got to spread your wings. Spread your wings and fly away. I come up with that with the last reading that I've just done, cancer reading, I think that was that one. But spread your wings and fly away. 'Cause Sally was low, watching the show over and over again. She knew it was time, she made up her mind to leave her best past behind. Something like that. Bad past behind, leave the bad behind. So spread your wings and fly away, fly away. Spread your little wings and fly away. Yeah, because you could be sweeping up the Emerald Bar. Some of you could be, what do you call it? Where you, maintenance worker. You maintain the home, but you also could be a maintenance worker. Maintenance. Trying to maintain things to be equal. Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with work, you know. What's fair is fair, you know. Some days you're stacking things on the shelf, or you're stacking things and putting things away, or sometimes you're doing this and it's kind of like delegating and saying, you know, today you're doing this, today you're doing that. And sometimes when you might get a job, you kind of like, fuck, shit, I don't get to see this person. Or I don't get to take a break so I can watch Steve on the internet. Thanks, Leo. You know. But do you know what I'm saying? I don't get to take as many breaks as what I possibly would like either. Or some of you might be saying, I need to take a break. I just need to take a break from this. I need to find myself. Wow. Oh dear. Oh dear. So this is karma that's catching. This is something that I can teach. Well, I hate keep saying teach. This is the people that I coach with their mind. Okay, with the mind. And I don't want to give too much away and babble on about that, but this is karma that's catching. Karma that's catching. Through society. Through belief. Through fighting people. Realising about fight or flight. Do we continue to fight for this or do we not? Is this mind game, is this game that you keep playing or I keep playing worth the time at work? Also 5, also the Hierophant, an old relationship or partnership, or general society, or even at court for children. Some people's children might learn, you see. They might have seen a lot. Someone's seen a lot of family dynamics or work dynamics or family dynamics where they're kind of like, it could be a Libra that has children. Because this is where people start taking offence. But this would be probably a Libra that possibly has like a lot of children, or if it's not children, it could just mean I don't want to go into that. Because this could be like a childlike play fighting energy also, but they might not mean always what they say, meaning like, because this could be a teasing, flirting energy of play fighting, you know, it can. Meaning like, I can tease and please, but at the end of the day, I'm not really like, you know, they then all of a sudden, or someone then just takes an offence to what someone does because they're interested in someone, then when they find out they're not interested in someone, something like that, you know. Because you go from a 7 to an 8 back to a 5 again, it's kind of like trying to keep the spirit alive, but where's the spirit gone, man? Where's the spirit gone? Someone's losing their gift. So if you're just starting on your path and you're starting to open up, all of a sudden you realise that there's a block and you're like, where the hell's my gift gone? I just can't seem to connect with spirit anymore. I can't seem to connect with myself anymore. "13, 4, yeah, and the home life, I feel, for someone, could be a Libra, where it's like, there could be a lot of children and stuff, and they just got like a complete busy day all the time, and they're working extremely hard for it, but then it's kind of like the energy of where they just feel trapped in that circumstance because they have a family, you know. And it could be playing havoc with the partnership, could be, because someone might not like, or might not, it might just be, it's kind of like, you know, where's the time for me? Well, I've got a family, I have priorities to do, I have stuff to do, so why are you cutting me out then? You know? "20, which is 2, yeah. 2. Some people could see someone as a tease through the 6 of that gets a lot of attention, and then when you try to get their attention, they just don't pay attention. You know, to the person that really wants the attention off the person. Because it's kind of like, oh, you showed an interest, and then all of a sudden you just cut me out. What did you cut me out for? I thought we was talking about how to make things better. Oh no, I was just messing around. It's not really what I wanted. You know? That's the feeling that I'm getting through these cards. I said, well, why did you just send me that message? We were talking and everything was good, and then all of a sudden you just turned your back on me and cut me out your life. And now I've worked on this message and I've just sent you it, and all of a sudden you tell me to piss off or you tell me to go away. Why is that? You know, that's for some of you as well that are on the other side of the scale that are interested in this energy here. But you might be mirroring the people. You see, your mirroring effect is everything that you accomplish and that you do within your life and your work, of your assignment. You see, what you were sent here to learn, your assignment. So a lot of you might have 8 in your number sequences of karma, soul urge, life path. 7 or 8. Anything like that. But I definitely feel that energy's around, that someone gets very offended by that someone draws the attention to themselves. It's like you draw the attention to oneself, but then when they get the attention, they like just act like well, they act out. They act out. It's because it's like playful, but someone doesn't like it. It's kind of like, well, why are you not the person that you said you was, and then all of a sudden you've cut me out, and then you're working, you send this message to them and it goes through to them and it gets to them, and then it's kind of like it causes conflict every time you talk to them, or that you tell them something that it is that somebody wants or needs from the relationship, and they start to fear it in their mind that it's not going to be received very well because it might have happened plenty of times before. And it's kind of like, you know, if that's to do that you've got children with and that's a past partner, then that's because you're going through that. If this is the court, then you're going through that because of the court. And it might all be because of that someone has court life going on with children and loads of stuff, but someone might not want a commitment, but it feels like for some people are seeing it as, I want a commitment, but I'm really just teasing people. For some people, I don't know, but I think it is winding someone up, because I think that they spend a long time working on spiritual stuff and all that kind of thing, and they're thinking, okay, well, how do I make this message more clearer to this person? I've got to really work on the message that I'm sending to someone, and then I work on it and I work on it, and I think, right, okay, now I've got everything that I want to say, and they send a message and it goes through, and then it's kind of like, oh, no, I was just fucking around, I was just messing about. And you're like, well, why? I thought you liked me. You know. Can be that, or like, I really do like you, but there's something that's going on that's separating people from the family, or something, or someone's fearful that because they have a lot of family or kids or stuff like that, that they fear that it's actually always going to like happen to me. But that would be different people, different folk for what do they call it? Different folks, different strokes. Remember you was? No, there's now queer as fuck. Yeah, some of you are sitting at home watching the watching the box. Could be brother sisterly love, or like what do you call it? Love to hate you. Children could be fighting, whereas just I love you but I hate you. I love you, I hate you. It's a bit like, right, the fact that you just kiss me and then slap me and run for. Sorry. What? Some of you could actually work for a school in a playground or something. Some of you could be like the person that looks after children, you know, and this could just be a dynamic that's happening with kids, and that you actually blow the whistle at school time, you know, and some of you do that, and you might be the secretary of defence, the secretary that tells children that's what's right or what's wrong. But you might do that at work, where you're like, okay, this is right, that's wrong, this is right, that's wrong, you know. Some of you are just not really interested in love, and this is just a dynamic that's happening, that you're trying to wait until the kids fly the nest so you can be free, so you can go out and enjoy yourself or stuff. But you might just have like a love interest. Too many cards. So this could be happening via the internet, that someone is afraid to approach someone. They're afraid to approach somebody, because this could be a teasing energy. This to me represents Leo, okay, but it doesn't have to be. It's a fire sign, but it's a phallic card. Okay. Now, regardless of that, it's like someone is teasing somebody. They're teasing someone. It's like they just give you a little, but not enough of anything that keeps an interest, of where someone's kind of like, the fuck, man, you just told me. Well, this can be someone that talks about sex a lot. Okay, a lot, and that it brings like well, why did you just literally tell me all that sort of stuff for? You know, why did you just tell me all that? Well, I thought you was interested because you were talking about sex and all that sort of stuff, and you keep bringing it up. Why is it now that when I show an interest and send you a message about a relationship, it's like someone is being teased. This could be the ex-partner for some of you. The ex-person. Because it might be that you have family with a Leo or a Aries or Sagittarius, and one of the people is the court, or it's in your chart. But say this is the court, this could be the court, and these are the children that are caught in between a court battle. A court battle as well. Because it's like there's a hell of a lot of passion to keep up the appearance of pride, which is what keeps the ego alive, you see, the 7 deadly sins. Pride, ego, 5. So it can be known as egocentrical through the 6, which is the ego. Someone that gathers and gets a hell of a lot of attention. But there's an attention that's being drawn because someone's fucking drawn a line in the sand and they're studying how to actually communicate with this person of something that they want. Some of it is that they just want to sleep with the person. But I feel like if that's your ex-partner or something, you're kind of like, no. It's kind of like, well, I just sent you all this message, and why don't you want it? Because I'm not interested in just a sex relationship. I actually want a relationship, not just a one-night stand. You're more than a number in my little red book. You're more than a one-night stand. Some of you want that kind of thing, but you realise that work and family might be getting in the way of you actually being able to take a break with your partner, and that you want to be like that with a partner, but you realise that there are obligations of work and family and all that stuff seems to be coming in between you all. So I'm going to start channeling and go on to the other side, guys. So if this is kind of resonating with you, this is the point where if you're really struggling with something, is to reach out for a personal reading, okay? The link is below if you want to watch the video and if you want to reach out into email. Okay, this will also continue over on Patreon and also on Vimeo, and these are your bi-weekly folders. Okay, so then as soon as I've done this, I'm going to go on to a new project. So please make sure that you hit the like, share and subscribe and the bell button, because I might also be changing the name, and if you're not actually subscribed and you go to type in 7, you might not come up with this channel. Okay, so that's half the reason why I'm it will still be the same, but it'll be slightly different. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button, guys, okay? But let's go on to the other side and see what's going to happen and clarify some of these cards. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.